Welcome. Today we're playing the Witness again. Witness again, sorry. Yeah, I figured today we might do the puzzle in the excuse me. It's been a while since I've streamed actually. We're doing the puzzle in the theater down below. So yeah, down here we'll just be down there. There's one puzzle I'll show you on the obelisk. One puzzle that's down below. This one right here. What we have to do is start here, move our cursor around to about here, and then wait an hour, and then move it down to here to complete the puzzle. Yeah, it's a pretty garbage it's a pretty garbage puzzle, but I still wanted to do it just for the obelisk. So first we'd have to make our way down there. And I need to remember that it's in this building here. Okay. Through here? No. So one of these puzzles, I believe it was this one here? Yes, it was. Where we begin with that's our first dot, and then it changes color over time to be this black dot here. And then we can finish the puzzle there. Which is very annoying. So yeah, I'll probably have the volume off, and sorry, the game volume off, and I'll just be talking about other things while this puzzle is playing out. So yeah, let's begin that. I'll go a bit before. Okay. So first things first, we'll start the puzzle.
How many of you here have personally witnessed a total eclipse of the sun? To stand one day in the shadow of the moon is one of my humble goals in life. The closest I ever came was over 30 years ago.
Okay.
On February 26th, 1979.
And we wait here for an hour.
Eclipse passed directly
Alright,
over the
so
city of Portland.
step one.
I bought my bus tickets.
That, and then volume down. Alright, so this will be what the stream is for the next hour or so. I will be talking about other things over the top of it. I do have notes on the side. If anyone has questions in chat, then feel free to ask them. I wanted to be talking about a few things that I've been looking at in terms of media, because I've been looking to make quite a few videos. I wanted to talk about a few things. One of them would be Doctor Who, the new Matrix movie, and a little bit about the MCU actually. I think I might start with Doctor Who, though. What I've been focusing on in Doctor Who would be the Weeping Angels, actually. I've been actually recently I've been going through each part of what the Weeping Angels have been doing, and I've been looking at all their strengths and weaknesses and comparing them to each other throughout the episodes, because I've noticed they've actually been wildly inconsistent. Uh, and what's been sorry, because like especially in Flux, which has been most recent. Uh, sorry, I hope to get better at this over time, but uh, yeah, we'll start. And this feels like such a bad format because I have to keep my mouse on the screen here, so I can't run through my notes too easily. But I do have them all on screen. I've got some dot points here. Uh, so yeah, in Flesh and Stone is the first episode I wanted to talk about. We've got the angels. To they are at their strongest in probably Flesh and Stone. We've got an entire army, and some of the feats they can pull off are actually incredible. Like, so they managed to break into a pressurized spaceship, and they spend most of that time in the dark. So they're actually at their strongest. They can move freely, and they have their full energy with them. So one of the things I've noticed with that, like so some of the things they do is they manage to break into the spaceship, uh, which is actually quite a difficult thing for them to do actually, because sorry, I'm just running over my words at the moment. I feel like I need to slow down, go through my words a bit better. Sorry. Yeah. Um. Hmm. See, I know what the issue is. I haven't taken my meds actually. I'll be just a second. I'll be back in a minute, but I'll put the game audio on. Yeah.
Radio Shack offered 3 different levels of battery excellence. First were the alkalines, powerful, long-lasting, and expensive, hanging behind the counter like prescription medication in gold-embossed blister packs. These were most certainly not available through the Battery of the Month Club. Next were the high-end lead batteries, sturdy, dependable batteries, moderately priced, and prominently displayed near the front of the store. These were also not available.
Yeah. So that should be better. It's really bad to take my meds that late. I'm supposed to take them like first thing after breakfast. But yeah. So yeah, over the next 5 minutes, I should be getting a bit like better at my speech and that. So yeah. What was I talking about? Weeping Angels. Yes, they were sorry, Weeping Angels breaking into the spaceship were sorry. So they were able to break into a pressurized spaceship that so the humans had to actually work through the electronics and turn them all off to actually override the security systems that would allow them in. But the angels were able to brute force their way through turning the hull wheel, so the bulkhead wheels, which was quite and then even through uh the the church's military would put magnetic clamps on the door, and they thought it would be impossible for the angels to actually get through the door. So, but then the angels actually start turning the wheels, which is a really interesting uh thing when it comes to later. Sorry, my brain's still not there yet. Hopefully I will get better at this over the course of an hour. That is my main hope, that I'll just be able to talk. So yeah, they can break onto the pressurized spaceship. Now we can take that up to Doctor Who Flux. The Weeping Angels have an episode there, and the feats they're able to pull off are significantly less. Now, uh, sorry. Okay, yeah. So first, basically, we have an entire swarm of angels. Now in Flux, they're also at the height of they're at their peak physical form. They've arrived with a mission to do. Um, they they've got a perfect shape. They're arrived prepped for a combat scenario that they have going on. So, and once they reach a house in I can't remember which century in the in the 19th century, they can't break into that even though it's made of wood and glass. It's wood and glass. Sorry. Um, that's been a really they're unable to break into that. They're able to like rattle the doors, but you could break into a window with a brass knuckle. A human could do that, but the angels don't seem to be able to do that. It's actually quite it's the first. Sorry, I hope to get better at this over time. That's okay. Uh yeah, and there's another thing that actually happens. So the whole gimmick with the angels is that you have them if you ever look you have to constantly look at them, otherwise you it's pretty much a death wish because they are much faster than you, they're much stronger than you. One touch will send you back in time, which is basically a death wish. So which is effectively killing you if you have no way to travel through time. Um, and however, uh, in Flux, there's actually one scene uh, where one lady is looking at an angel, turns her head away, and about 10 seconds later, she looks back and the angel's able to get her, which is it's from a distance of 5 feet, so that's like 15 centimeters per second. So a human could have outrun that angel. It's ridiculous. You don't even need to look at them. You just need to look at them, back away a few steps, and then just sprint. If an angel moves at that speed, which it should have been, it's trying to clear out the entire town, and it's trying to it has a specific goal in mind. It's uh it's really frustrating to look at. Um yeah, I don't think it's a very good episode. That or much else of Flux actually. Um yeah. Uh oh yeah, there's a bunch of really interesting things about the angels. Like they understand physics like better than say a human civilization does. They have an understanding of how like time energy works uh and how particles work. Like they seem to be very competent in that regard actually. However, there is the other thing that they don't understand is how humans interact with each other. They're actually completely alien. Would be uh how I describe them because they really have to learn how to torment humans. Like in say what's it called, Time of the Angels, the first part of the of the Applin double episode. Byzantium, that's what it's called. The Byzantium's the ship they're on. Um yeah, in the first half of that, they have no idea how to call the humans over to lure them into their trap. They don't know what would be used to convince a human. So one of the things they say is, "Hey, you have to come and see this." Um, but then they'll ask, "What should I come see?" And they just repeat themselves. No, you have to come see this, because they, as angels, they have no idea what to say to lure a human in. Like, they have the intelligence for it. They just don't understand human culture. Is what it comes down to. Or, um, so let's see. So they're able to strip a cerebral cortex from a body and reanimate it, but they're not able to understand this human culture, which is I think is pretty fair, because one of them, like, so if this is the first time they'd met humans, then fair enough. Like, you could figure out how to control them as an organism before you learn to control them psychologically. Uh, let's see. Oh yeah, and the other thing they do is they drain. One of the ways they fail actually is they drain the energy from the ship that they're on, and then they and that disables the sorry, and then the artificial gravity fails because there's no energy in the ship, and then they fall into the time rift. See, they clearly didn't know that was going to happen. So is it because they didn't know how the spaceship worked? They just knew it. They knew a few things about it, that it leaked radiation from the mechanism in the power source, but they didn't know that the artificial gravity on the ship was directly tied to the power source, which could be an interesting thing to look at, but yeah, it's I don't know. Uh, my Twitch stats aren't updating, but I'm too scared to leave the screen to refresh it. So I'm just gonna have to deal with that. Tolerate that actually. Now, what's the next episode? Oh yeah, in Angels Take Manhattan, they have some really bizarre. There's some really just interesting parts of angel lore they just put in. Like, so in that episode, the main premise is that the angels are building a factory to keep humans in, right? Um, so what happens is they put a human into a a room, and then they put the human into the room, and then they send them back in time to to stay in that room for as long as possible. And then once they reach then once they catch up with them, they send them back in time again. So you keep taking the same human, sending them back in time, and that's how they feed off a person. However, how it's described in Blink is that you take away the life that never was, which doesn't really make sense if you can do this multiple times to the same person by putting them by uh taking away by making them putting them in a fixed point, which is where they see themselves and they can't change their future anymore. So if you make that person's life into a fixed point where you send them back and then they just live round and round, you're not really taking away their life anymore because their life has been set in stone. And then so you can take their time energy once, I'd imagine, but then if they reach the same point, they're still in the same cycle that they're inevitably going to be in forever. I really don't understand why that is going to be create time energy, because their life is pretty much their life is just a fixed point at that point. Excuse me. And then so and they have control of one building to do this. So what happens if you fill up every room in that building? At that point, it would just be simpler to go out and hunt. If because one person, say you can send them back in time 20 times before they you can send them back in time 20 times before they have lived their life. So that takes 20 rooms of the building. And if you have like say like a hotel, I don't know how big the building was, but say if you had 200 rooms, you could fit 10 people in that room. You get 200 harvests all at the same time. But so you could just harvest 200 people and then you'd have to start again, really. It's I don't really understand how that's going to be more effective. So the time loop farm doesn't seem like it would be more effective than just going out and hunting, because you get your 200 so you get your entire building's worth of harvests all at the same time, really, but that takes years and years of setup to do. Okay, so my other question was, how do they hunt uplands to extinction? How did they kill off the uplands? Because or why did they do it? Because if they kill all the uplands, then they have nothing to feed on, right? So either they need to ration their upland feeding and remain unnoticed, or they need to leave. They need to have a plan for either one of those two. Otherwise, they would just starve to death if they do, which is what happened. That was the inevitable outcome, is what happened in Time of the Angels. And so the implication is that they sent literally everyone back in time. So if you send people back in time, it's going to start increasing population, and then you'll have a whole bunch of people who can corroborate their story and can confirm what's going to happen. But that may create a paradox, but well, it's hard to say, really. Well, it's either going to create a paradox, or it's going to, or the Applins are going to be prepared for the angels to come. So a few people will be sent back, but and a whole bunch of people will be in the past, knowing of what's going to happen. It's if you use the entire population to do that. I'm rambling again. I haven't really thought through this point so much. Yeah. Anyway, back to Angels Take Manhattan. No, not Angels Take Manhattan. Just sorry. There's really the first episode of Blink. Yeah, the first episode, which is Blink. The Angels are actually defeated by because the TARDIS disappears. And then the Angels are left facing opposite each other and are able to see each other, so they cannot move. So I really wanted to talk about how the Angels work. So they cannot move in the sight of any other living creature, which includes each other, actually. So if they can see each other, they can't move. So you'd think they would do most of their tasks in the dark, which is probably where if they were just hanging out somewhere, they just have they just have no light around, which would be the ideal case, and they could just move around freely. And so oh, excuse me. Let's see. If they can move around, they can move around freely. Sorry, where was I going? So it makes it. They have lots of tactics where they rely on the lights going out. So they'll all gather into a room, and then absorb all of the energy from the from any of the electrical lighting, and then they'll take out, and then they'll travel through, and they'll just wipe everything out. However, there's lots of cases like where they aren't going for the energy in the room, but they are still like gathered in groups. Say in a Flesh and Stone, they have two groups of angels that are looking at the Doctor from either side. They're sort of at an angle, but the front ones they sort of off center, and they're not going after the lighting at all. So the front angels are being seen by the angels behind them. There's two in the front, two in the back, on two separate sides. So there's 4 total. They're on 2 separate sides. So the ones in the back can see all 3 other angels, but the ones in front are looking directly at the Doctor. So the ones in the back really need to be covering their eyes, while the ones in front are looking forward. But what we have is one in the front that is looking straight at the Doctor, another one in the front that has its eyes covered, and then 2 in the back just looking straight at the Doctor, which doesn't really make much sense because they can all see each other. They couldn't actually move. It seems like a good tactic because they're on either side of the Doctor at like a 90-degree angle from each other. So the Doctor has to turn 90 degrees, and he can't see both of them at the same time. He has to and he's cornered, so he really needs to go out at the 45 degree, which is what he does, and he does get caught. But then, the angels miraculously decide to give up at that point. Because they're looking at the time rift. Yeah, and then in Angels Take Manhattan, they have a similar thing. They have a corridor. They have 2 angels on either side of the corridor looking in, and they can they're looking down the corridor right at each other while someone walks out of the room. They think, oh no, I'm cornered, but those 2 angels are quantum locked forever, so who cares? They can just walk out. And the other thing, I believe it's in Name of the Doctor. Um, the angel uses a mirror to. So the Doctor uses a mirror to keep the angel quantum locked forever, which is another interesting thing because that angel's actually looking at itself. Which, if that were the case, what makes the mirror any different from looking into their own hands to cover their face? Because it's it's the same light, it's the same uh object you're observing, and they use the term quantum lock, which implies that it's actually the scientific term where the scientific property of subatomic particles. But it's, well, the Doctor describes it a little differently because as in the sight of any living thing, which is not how the scientific principle works. It's if it has a noticeable effect on larger forms of matter, then it will change its properties. Is how the quantum effect works, I think. I'm basing this off the electron two slit uh, experiment where they can change the state of electrons between waves and particles. Um, yeah. So we're reaching. I hope that's the halfway point. Well, we're 32 minutes into the stream, so yeah, who knows? Yeah, that could be working. Uh, that could be the halfway point because I did hear it was an hour, but no, it was 58 minutes. So, and I don't know how quickly we got here. I think we spent a few minutes on the surface just talking about what we're gonna do today. Uh, yeah, but hopefully I'm getting better at talking over time. That's the idea. Talking into a mic and putting my words into thoughts. That's the other thing I was doing today. Uh, oh yeah. The other thing we can talk about is the Statue of Liberty as a weeping angel. That's really just a garbage angel, really. It can't move without being seen. It's living in Manhattan. Uh, on how does it's it should be under constant view because it's living in a highly populated area and is that tall. Um, there's always going to be something looking at it, and that's before it starts to move. When it starts to move, it makes giant thuds. Like it makes an sound. It makes a sound that'll make anyone run outside and go see what it is because it could be an earthquake even. Um, or if they hear where it's coming from, they're going to look in that direction and they're going to say, "Hang on, the Statue of Liberty has moved," and then how is that angel going to get anywhere? Because if it makes that much noise and moves that slowly, uh, is it how much energy does it take to hold that form? Would be another thing. Um, can that angel send things back in time? Yeah, if it reaches like when it reaches that rooftop, what is it going to do? Is it going to reach its hand down, touch the creature, and then it's going to touch Rory or the PI and send them back in time? Because I don't think that's going to work either. Where's this puzzle? It's still there. We're waiting for the moon. This puzzle is garbage, honestly. Why is this here? I just have to leave this and walk away for an hour. I could listen to the documentary they have up, I suppose, but why would I do that? I mean, I can't really do that on stream, especially with how the copyright of it works. Hmm. Uh, we could talk about something else for a while. Uh, oh yeah, Matrix 4, Matrix Resurrections. It's another movie I'd seen recently, actually. Say another like I say another like I've talked about another movie in their stream, but no, sorry. Matrix 4 is something else I wanted to talk about. There's a few just big issues with that film. like but it's very boring, frustrating watch. The way that the film relies on references is it relies on the success of the first film, more or less. It's everything's just a callback um the Matrix trilogy, which is that's kind of the Force Awakens effect. The films get or oh excuse me the films uh the films just bring up enough references to make you feel nostalgic, and then uh hope that's enough to be um memorable as a film. It just makes a boring film, really. Especially in the way they did it. They basically what they did is they have Neo be think he's insane and have flashbacks of the first Matrix film. So randomly, for no without rhyme or reason, clips of the first Matrix film just show up, and it's supposed to be something that happens inside his head. We'll just see one of Neo's memories of one of the first Matrix films. So he'd walk into the office where secret Agent Smith is, and he would say, "Mr. Anderson," and then he would have a flashback to the interview room where he just sees uh Agent Smith saying Mr. Anderson. It's it's very bizarre, and like the analyst. Oh no, we won't talk about the analyst yet. I'm rambling. Uh, uh my drugs have kicked in now, definitely. So my prescription drugs, of course. Um, uh, so yeah, my brain should be functioning a bit better now. Uh, oh yeah, and there's this one line. Yeah, there's this one line in the film that Morpheus says where he explains. He says he's supposed to be saying the exact same words. Um, sorry, he feels it best to say the exact same words as he said in the first Matrix film. So he says, and then you have a choice to make, and then he says, etc., etc., blah, 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 is the line he gives instead. Which, what if you haven't seen the first Matrix film? Then, then the line does not make any sense to the viewer. It's, it's just bizarre, really. Uh, oh, that's my shoulders. No, elbows. Yeah, because the thing about reading my notes now, the thing about the relying on these references and nostalgia is that without those first films, the film is lessened in its own quality. So the film can't stand on its own. And if a film can't stand on its own, then what happens if this is your first Matrix film? You're just going to have a bad movie. Uh, let's see. I can move you. Alright. Alright, so the game's still going. I've been talking a while. I need a drink. Alright. Ah, um. Oh yeah, in the beginning of the film, there's actually a scene where they're trying to make a basically what's happened is Neo is inside the Matrix and has the memories of the first three Matrix films and believes that um excuse me, just believes that they were a video game that he is the developer of, which is really interesting. Um, yeah, and then so yeah, so the reason I bring that up is because the next scene is one of the scenes is that the company decide for whatever reason the company decides that they want to make a Matrix 4 video game inside the Matrix, which I probably explained poorly, but um now that's just uh, oh yeah, so and then they have a pitch meeting on how are we going to make Matrix 4. So it's sort of this meta commentary thing. But everything they say is incredibly superficial. Like one of the big points is big things that is said is what if we have it deep and philosophical and bring it back to what the first Matrix was about? About the concept of free will and all that. And this one other guy just comes and says, no, I don't think so. Uh, I want my Matrix to be big and flashy and all about the action. And um, yeah, I'm pretty sure his exact line is, no, my video games are dumb and full of action. Is basically is yeah. I think that's what the line is. Why? Okay, so sorry, I'm just looking at the game, and some of the subtitles the subtitles have taken like up to 4 lines, but one of the uh one of the subtitles there was only taking up 2 lines, but the text was incredibly small. Yeah, the text changes size between each subtitle, which hmm. Yeah, anyway, getting sidetracked. Um sorry. Sorry. Uh I don't usually do I don't usually just talk on end for this long. So yeah, they really try with meta commentary on their own film, which and if you're going to do that, why do they stop so soon on it? It's silly, almost. Uh, I've got like another 20 minutes here. uh, uh, Oh boy. Oh yeah, and then the analyst, which is the new architect, invents this new thing where he can slow down time within the matrix, and this is really effective at stopping the one, which, you know, that brings up a few questions. Like he can just turn on and off an effect where the one is just completely uh just ineffective, which is which brings up a few things. Like, did it say take 50 years of calculations to make this work? Because, you know, that's the only way I can think of them justifying this. Because if the analyst had a way to just turn or to just completely nullify Neo, then why did the architect never do this? Because hmm, because the existence of Neo was really a necessary part of the Matrix that he could not control, and that so he always made his compromise with uh Neo at the end of each cycle, which we find out at the end of Matrix 2. Uh, so if the analyst has this way of stopping Neo, so why doesn't the architect? Unless, like, that's the only thing I can think of, is there is this unexplained reason that we have to write ourselves for the movie, is that it took, say, 50 years of calculations to make the time stopping ability that would stop Neo. All right. Where were we? Oh yeah. Oh yes. Bullet time. The analyst actually calls it bullet time in universe. So, and he refers to it as one of Neo's signature moves. The thing he was known for was bullet time. Bullet time is one of his powers, which, well, that's definitely not true. He's known that he can move almost as fast as an agent can move, and uh he never the bullet time was not one of his abilities. He could just move really fast. What the bullet time was is a way to view is a way is a visual effect for the audience to see what's going on when they move quite fast during the Matrix. Like, so it's used to quite to an extent in uh when Neo has to fight Agent Smith, and when it's first revealed that he can move incredibly fast. Where's the moon? Where'd the moon? Oh, there it is. I was looking at the stream again. I have to be ready for when it comes up. so so yeah, the fact that he calls it bullet time is just, it's just silly. And then that, oh, we found it from you, but bullet time was never a thing in universe. It was a thing. It was a visual effect of the movie, not of the Matrix universe. Nah. Uh, I'm getting a little tired. Honestly, some people just talk for hours on end. I don't know how they do it. Uh, I was thinking, oh yeah, I'll only be streaming for an hour today, so I'll just keep on going after this. But wow, this is a lot. Just keep on talking. Oh yeah, and then the swarm. The swarm are basically uh, the replacement for the agents. Now, what can the agents do? Um, So what can the swarm do? Basically, the swarm is if you can find any blue pill in the Matrix and just take over their body, and that's how the agents work. They would replace their body with the body of an agent. However, what the swarm does is it takes control of a person's body, and basically it uses their body to attack a person. Now, now the analyst says, "Hey, look what I've done. I have made improvements to the Matrix. I have the swarm. They're much better than the agents," which is just no, they're not. They're not better than the agents. What happens is, so yeah, in the first three Matrix films, the agents are described as so basically, if you run into an agent, you're pretty much already doomed. You avoid the agents at all cost, right? So and that's actually shown. They have this incredible speed. They can incredible accuracy. They've basically got an aimbot built into them because they are machines, and then they can move faster than any human can, and then they are stronger than any human can. However, the swarm, what happens is you just take over a human's body, and you have all of their strengths, all of their speed, but you can just do with that as you will, and you can take over like all humans at once, basically. Now, this is a way to get the red pills to be fighting as many people as possible at once, and they can just immediately beat all of them because they're hacked into the Matrix. They can bend a few of the rules, but they can just beat the entirety of the swarm like incredibly easily. They can't dodge bullets. They can't fight really. They just run at you, and they don't have the speed or the strength of an agent. So they're just mowed down very, very easily. And then, oh yeah, and in the final part of the movie, basically what they use the swarm for is they take random people out of the skyscrapers above them, and they run at the windows and just rain bodies down onto the street below. Which, now, those all the people in the Matrix have a use. There's a reason the Matrix exists, and that's to as a power source to the humans. Now, if you just keep taking people and just slamming them into the road whenever you feel necessary, you're going to upset the order of things. The last time an agent took over every person, took over that many person in the Matrix was destroyed. So, like, the raining bodies down is just an excessive waste of energy on the for the machine world on the machine world's part. Why do they let the analysts do this? Is the main question I have. Oh wow, that's all of my Matrix Resurrections notes actually. Let's see. So yeah, there's a point in the movie where they just stop calling, where Agent Smith just stops calling Neo Mr. Anderson. He just starts calling him Tom, which that's his name, Thomas Anderson. But I am on one hand I am kind of glad that they stopped calling him Mr. Anderson because I was just taking the reference a bit too bit. It's just dragging out the reference. Like, oh, I remember him saying that word 10 years ago. Like, how old's the Matrix? 20 years ago. um, how old am I? uh, ah, well, 25 even. Like, 'cause he just says Mr. Anderson at every possible point. That would get very old very quickly, but you know, it's just a reference. They do it a few times. They're like, he just says Mr. Anderson at the very beginning. It's just, oh, I remember the words that they said in the first movie. It would get very annoying very quickly as a reference. So I'm kind of glad they did something other than Mr. Anderson. I don't know how I feel about Tom though. It's like, oh, hi Tom. Here's uh we're not so different, you and I, Tom. Uh I am very scared to touch my mouse at the moment. I have my hands down by my side. I don't know why. I'm just thinking about, what if I click now? Um I'll be rage quitting and coming back another day. That's what. I'll need more notes. We're almost there. We've got, it looks like 5 minutes. I don't know. And that would be about right because, yeah, stream time is at 57 minutes, and I heard like the exact time was close to 58 minutes. Yeah. Hmm. So yeah, maybe some of the videos I'm working on at the moment. Uh, I've done one on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I wanted to move away from the MCU, really, just branch out a bit. Before I come back to it. Yeah, so I was making a video on the Weeping Angels about all the things I've been talking about. Now, what I have been doing is I've been going through each episode and just writing notes about everything that angels do. So yeah, Blink, when it came to Time of the Angel, no, Flesh and Stone, I've just been marking out every time they move, how fast they move, um, what else they do, what they can make Amy do when they have the angel imprint on her. And yeah, and how they, I mentioned with the time rift, there's a few things they could do with that. I feel like if they had, say, if the crack was the same crack that was in, so if it had the same connections as the, say, the ones that the one Amy's room did, maybe they could have fed on that, but the one they had was open to the end of the universe, which they could not feed on because well, it would just kill them. It would erase them from time. Oh, we're almost done. I believe that sliver gets covered up by the gets eclipsed, and then we get a glow behind that, and then the moonfall, and then the puzzle forms. Let's see. Don't click. Don't click. All right. Yeah. So it might appear there. It might appear at the very bottom. Don't click. What a shit puzzle, honestly. Um. Uh. Hmm. Okay. So. Uh. Yeah, so I've gotten through Flesh and Stone, and now I'm on to Angels Take Manhattan. And after that, there is a scene from Class, and then oh, hello, moon's forming. Oh, almost. Okay, okay, relax. Oh, it started raining. It's very bizarre. you know, where I live, it usually only rains for like 20 days a year, but we've blown that completely out. All the and that's caused lots of problems because there's very few like if there's a leak, if there's a leak in the in like a building, you don't know, and like for like most of the year, and then when it rains, you just find it, which is really interesting. If I'm and so yeah, from what I believe is if there's a large enough building. Oh, hello, things formed. That's formed, and oh no, let's put sound on. Ah, all right. Hold on, let me adjust things. Ah. Ah. Now let's go check. I nearly missed that. I would have been so frustrated if that happened. Oh my god. Ah, let me finish up that thought. What was I talking about? Angels, and then... Ah, yeah, so I've got Angels, Class, and then Flux to... Sorry, I've got Angels Take Manhattan. That's the a few bits in Class, and then time Name of the Doctor, and then Flux, and then I'll have covered everything, and then I can start writing the script. Or actually I'll shuffle some evidence around. I'll see what can be drawn from it, and then I'll write the script, and then I'll record and release that video. Apart from that, oh sorry, I just burped. Apart from that, the other videos I probably want to work on is I'd want to do an analysis on how minigames would work in video games, and like say for example, one of them that I wanted to talk about was chess that appears across a bunch of Ubisoft games, and how it's just terrible and they shouldn't include it for a few reasons. The main reason would be that the main reason would be that oh sorry the main reason would be that they build it that well, they shouldn't include it if it's in, as part of the 100% requirement, because so in order to complete the game you have to go play another game, which I really dislike. And there's a few other things like how, you know, they can't really top just you can, if you just Google chess online, you'll find something like Lichess, and then you'll have a much better time playing chess than whatever they come up with, because say you have this chess mini game that exists in the world of say Watch Dogs, and then you can hear cars in the background and things. Such a neat little feature, but it's not really necessary to chess. And then you have the models, and then you have, it's just a very bad way of playing it. And then sometimes they have it so that you have to play it with a controller, you know, or no, it's designed to be played with a controller, so ease of access for say if you've got a mouse, you can't really use that to its full extent. You have to like, you just have to use arrow keys to navigate a chessboard. It's garbage, honestly. And And then like the exceptions to that would be where minigames do work. Would be, say, for example, Zelda, I do find, because their minigames are based on the in-game mechanics that you already have. So that makes the minigames work. Anyway, let's go. My voice is a bit sore actually. I've just been talking for an hour. It's there. Now I know where you are, I just don't know how to get you to go. You're that grey cloud. There. And that circular cloud up there. Let's go have a look at you. Somewhere up here I was able to put the shape together. And I could stop there, so I don't quite know how to make that white. I was thinking maybe something around here, but that brings the shape apart. So I can't really move from this spot, can I? Huh. I'll change my stream title. Actually, I can do that now. Let's close this window. Close all my notes. Don't need them anymore. Alright, oop. Just pressed a random button. I hope that was, it didn't do anything. Alright. Okay. I don't quite know how to do this. Okay, let's look at this obelisk. Yep, yeah, this one. You might be over the mountain from down there, but I don't know where you're viewable from. You, I don't know where any of those would be. I feel like you two might be around the beach shore or over the mountain. So I don't know where any of those would be. Oh, hello. Alright. Oh yes, down to this one. We'll have a look. We've done most of these, I believe. Just a few on the shipwreck. Or around the shipwreck. Yeah, you all seem to be in the shipwreck. You're around the shipwreck. You're... I don't know. And you are the broken one that's right there. feel like it should be right here, but yep, done all that, done all that. You are interesting. Do I have you on? I do not. Okay. I just have on here. I have the map of the top of the mountain. I know where all of these ones are. And nice, that's right, all these audio logs. So sorry, I'm a bit dead in my voice because of that hour. It was a fun hour. I'd like to get better at that. But, you know, I'd also like to have things to fill in the dull moments. Sorry, the low moments of my talking. Wait, was there an audio log around here? I've checked this for this one so many times, I don't know quite where the location is. And I just need to make sure I haven't gotten it yet. And there's one behind that, it's done. Alright, what was I looking for? You're not done. Well... Well, I've dredged through for an hour. What's that noise? It's like a brushing sand noise? I'm looking at the LNR channels on the OBS. I don't trust my ears. Now, there might be something around these trees, actually. Um, actually, I might finish up stream there today because the rain's getting louder. That's just gonna bring down the audio quality, and yeah, that um, nap has really took it out of me. Just talking for an hour. It was really fun, but I don't know if I can do it again. Yeah, thank you for joining in, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.